Will you take part in my life, my love? That is my dream. Life is but a dream. It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it. Life is but a dream. It's what you make it. Always try to give.
What is going on, guys? I'm Teo. Welcome to another vlog episode. If you don't already know, I do play live casino poker at a competitive level, but today we are no longer in Canada, as you guys can tell. We are at the Hoover Dam. We're at the Hoover Dam, guys. The Hoover Dam's right behind us, and this is obviously a little bit different. We're gonna get to the hands and all the fun poker journey in, I guess, a little bit. What I want you guys to do is, if you want to check out the bonus footage, is I'm going to put all this cool footage that I'm going to shoot today, and I'm going to put it at the bonus end of the video. So if you guys just watch through the regular poker routine, we're going to do the poker grind tomorrow. So I got some games happening, and I'm going to be playing tournament at the Wynn. So I'm going to see you guys there, but for now, see you tomorrow. But for you guys, it's gonna be like 2 seconds. So anyways, I'll be in Vegas when you see me.
It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it. Life is but a dream. It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it. Life is but a dream. It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it. Life is but a dream. It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't ever take it. Life has its music. Life has its song. Life has its music. Life has its song. Life has its music.
All right, guys, we are in Vegas right now. We're on the Strip. We are walking to the Wynn. As you can tell, I'm in a little bit of a rush right now. I'm hustling. People are honking everywhere because we just crossed a red freaking light. So very sunny. People are, I guess, not totally everywhere right now because it is kind of before noon, so I guess people are still kind of like sleeping in. But anyways, I gotta pretty much keep on pace here. I'm speed walking, and we're registered for the $140 buy-in tournament at the Wynn. I pretty much went on the Poker Atlas before coming over here, so I kind of like checked everything online and just wanted to see what they had in terms of tournaments. And I don't know, guys, like throughout the week, everything is like $70, $50, $60. No big buy-in tournaments. So this is probably the biggest buy-in that I found, and I guess I got really no other choice but to do this. I think I was supposed to go through the Venetian to cross over. I don't know. There's like a big crosswalk over here. Maybe I gotta like turn around. Anyways, enough talking. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a shoot, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
It's what you make it. Always try to give. Don't
Alright guys, so we are walking to the Encore now, I guess. I'm doing okay.
You don't have this going in through the casino, do you?
Through the casino?
Yeah.
No.
You cannot videos or pictures, and you were in the casino.
What is going on, guys? As you can tell, we're outside the Wynn right now, and unfortunately we ended up coming 7th. So, you know, not the best finish, but man, like the final table was just absolutely insane. We'll go into it. It's definitely a fun journey, and man, I can totally understand why tournaments make people feel a certain way. Like, I don't know, there's so much emotion involved in these tournaments. You're so close to a ton of money, yet at the same time you're still far away, and you could be like maybe one hand, maybe two hands away. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up the hands, I guess, tomorrow morning when I'm a little bit refreshed. I know it's not super late, but it's really loud over here. Maybe I'm actually just gonna like walk out. But we will continue this tomorrow, as I said. And hopefully then, gonna get my mind clear. I'm just gonna have a little more peace. But I'm gonna try to figure out where I'm gonna shoot it, because there's nothing like shooting it on the Vegas Strip, as you can see, like right behind me. I'm on the Strip, guys. We're in Las Vegas, baby. Wynn, right behind me. Wynn Palace. Not Wynn Palace, but still. Wynn and the Encore. Definitely one of the nicest casinos. And, you know, as I was doing the vlog and I ran into security, they're obviously opposed to vlogs and videos without permission. So I guess that's why a lot of the YouTubers here don't really do vlogs at the Wynn. So, well, anyway, enough of me rambling. I know you guys like say I talk too much, well, whatever. I don't care, man. I like talking. It's my vlog, you know what I mean? I know that I'm shooting this for you guys, so I really do understand you don't want to hear me talking all the time. So definitely gonna put a link for you guys to skip forward to the hands. So I will, as I said, catch you on the hands. All right. Hey guys, what is going on? Okay, so as you can tell, we are back in Canada. We got a whole bunch of water behind us. No longer at the Grand Canyon with that little sliver of water, but we're glad to be back home. I don't know, there's no place like home, although I love Vegas. It was actually a little chillier than I expected. Last year I went sometime mid-July and it was a lot hotter. Actually felt more like a tropical vacation, so I don't know. I was, I guess, a little bit disappointed that it wasn't super hot, but you know, what can you do? Set everything aside, I do apologize for all the scenic changes. My vacation was short-lived. I didn't really have that much time to kind of like spend there in video. I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff, saw a show, went to the Grand Canyon. That was like a full day on itself, and by the time you get to the end, it was just super exhausting. So I went through the wheel, that was pretty cool as well. And we did also play a tournament Thursday, but we're gonna get to that in just a minute. And most of you know what kind of happened in Las Vegas in the last little bit, and just wanted to send out my condolences to the families of the victims. I didn't get a chance to go out near the Mandalay Bay during that visit, but
you know, I heard that they got like a memorial site by the Las Vegas sign. Hopefully my next trip I'm gonna be able to get out there and you know, put some flowers, give my condolences in person, maybe sign like a flag or something like that for the Canadians that were affected. And don't get me wrong, this doesn't take away anything from the Americans, but it's just, you know, I'm Canadian, I live in Canada, so just trying to offer a little bit of support. But anyways, I just felt like if I didn't talk about that in any of my videos, I don't know, I couldn't live with myself. So anyway, let's just kind of set the negativity behind, because you know, we kind of have to live our lives. Things like this happen all the time. They happen all over the world, and you know, there's nothing that we can do. It's out of our reach. It's out of our control. So you know, we just have to live on. We have to accept, and we have to think about the future. So when things like this happen, you know, we always have to kind of be mindful of something like this. I don't know, so many things that I don't really want to get into. This is not what the vlog's about. So I know you guys have been itching to see the hands, and you've been itching to see what went down in that tournament, because we saved an entire day for the tournament. So let's get back into it, and let's just talk about the extravaganza that happened down at the Wynn Encore. Awesome poker room, top notch, like VIP type service, I would say. Everything was like clean, so nice and awesome. Let's just jump right into the hands. So this tournament starts off with 10,000 chips, and if you register before 11 o'clock and you show up and you're seated before 12 o'clock, you get an extra 500 for registering early, and you get an extra 500 for sitting down and starting to play before 12. It's a re-entry tournament, so you can re-enter, I think, as many times as you want before the first break. And that's pretty much like the gist of the tournament. We weren't able to sign in before 11, but we did sit down before 12. So we got an extra 500 chips, which is it's not so bad. You start off at 50, 100, so you know, that's an extra 5 big blinds. Can't go really wrong with that. So anyway, let's just get right into it. We've played a few hands before this and kind of like chipped up a little to about 11,000. So that's what we start off in this hand. And we got 10-9 of diamonds. We're in a small blind. So this entire tournament has been short-handed pretty much since it started. It's been like 7-handed max. We've just kind of been playing a short-handed strategy here. Playing a little looser from position, and kind of like, you know, standard, tighter out of position. But anyways, so folds around to the button, and the button decides to limp. Now the button's an older gentleman. He's kind of been limping along. Substantial amount of hands, I would say, definitely more than he should, and I feel like he's really weak on the button, especially after limping the button. I mean, you got the button, if you got anything reasonable, you're gonna want to raise here. So he's definitely super weak, and we got 10-9 of diamonds in the small blind. So now we raise to 375, and hope that the big blind gets out of the way, which thankfully enough he does, and the button calls. So now it's heads up to the flop, and we flop a 10-5 king, and 2 spades and heart out there. We got a c-bet here. Yes, we do have second pair. We're out of position, but as I said, the button's got so many hands here that we have to bet. We have to bet. So we bet here. I'm at 350, and he calls pretty quickly. Turn is a 6 of spades. So now we got 3 spades out there, and you know, we kind of got to see where we're at. I think if we have a flush draw, we probably would continue betting here. So I mean, we could throw in a bet here, we could check, we could definitely mix it up sometimes, but I think he's the type of opponent that he's going to play his hand pretty straightforward, and if he calls here fast, then he might potentially still have a draw. So he might have like a pair in a flush draw, and we're going to see what develops on the river. So we bet, and we bet 525 this time, and he calls super fast, and the river is an offsuit 6. So that makes me feel a little bit better about my hand. I mean, if you had like a better 10, then we're chopping now, and the flush doesn't get there. So we check, and he checks really fast, and he shows down 5-8 offsuit, and he had the 8 of spades. So he was going for the flush draw on the turn, and he missed, and we take that one down. So that was like our first fun hand with 10-9 that we won, and so far so good. So let's just go on to hand number 2. So now we got ace-5 offsuit, and we're in the big blind. Blinds are 75, 150, no ante, and we kind of trickled down to about starting stack again, so we got about 10K. And we get a whole bunch of limps in front of us. So we got early position 1 limps, E2 limps, the button limps, and the small blind limps. So we got our option in the big blind. We got an ace. We've been playing pretty snug, so I think we can easily squeeze it up here and take down the dead money. So we bump it to 1100, snap fold, and we take it down. So that one was an easy one. Hand number 3. Actually, before we go on to hand number 3, this kind of happened to the older gentleman, the guy that we beat with our 10-9, and he gets down to the river, and he prematurely flips over his hand. He shows 7-7, and the board is like king queen with like some other card. I think king queen was the only card that was higher than his 7, and then there were a bunch of low cards. So he essentially had third pair. So his opponent bets 2,000 on the river, and I'm like, man, this is like an older gentleman, and you're betting 2,000, and so now he starts tanking. He's tanking for about like a minute, and then his opponent just keeps telling him like, fold, it's okay, just fold, sir. It's just a $140 tournament, just fold your hand. And I'm like, maybe he's using like reverse psychology or something, but I don't know. It took him a while, he folded his hand. Anyways, gist of it is, next hand, he shoves. He's got 5K left. He shoves it blind. Shoves 5K blind when the blinds are 75, 150 with no ante. I don't know. Insane. So he's got like 4 or 5 offsuit when he shoves blind, and then somebody else calls him with ace queen, and ace queen holds. Ace queen high holds. So anyways, guys, don't spaz out like that. Like, if you lose a hand and you still got half a starting stack, you don't have to go crazy like that. That's how you bust tournaments. All right. Hand number 3. So now we got ace queen offsuit. Blinds are 750, 150, and we're in middle position 2. We got just a little over 11,000, and we're 7-handed. And it folds around to us. We open to 375, and the button calls. Everybody else folds. Flop is ace king 2, 2 diamonds, and we got the queen of diamonds. So we make a C bet here of 350, and we get snap called. Not so bad. Jack of diamonds on the turn. So at this point we have a flush draw, and the jack is not that good of a card. I mean, if he's playing with ace jack, if he's got king jack, definitely hits his range. I mean, he could be floating with a straight. So we're losing to a bunch of cards here, and I just think that doesn't make sense to kind of like turn our hand into a bluff. If he puts in a raise, it doesn't get good. It doesn't get good. He could also potentially have a flush, and we do have a draw to a higher flush. So yeah, we just got to check. So we check. He bets out 650, and then we call. River is a 9 of diamonds. So we're gonna check again, and now he goes 950, and we got the second nuts. Like, second nuts. Doesn't warrant a raise because you could potentially have the nuts, and we're probably not gonna get called by worse. Maybe a weaker flush if we go really small, but like, I don't know. I just don't want to get myself in a messy situation. So I think it's just better to kind of like see what he's doing it with, and we call. And he flips over ace 10 of hearts. take that one down. So I guess, you know, you let people bluff into you, turn their pairs into bluffs, and that's how you continue to grow your stack. So we've been grinding away, looking good so far, can't really complain, and I don't know, feeling good about this tournament. Let's go to hand number 4. All right, so now we wake up with Queen Jack, and the blinds have gone up to 150, 300 with a $25 ante. We're at about 16,000 right now, so we've, you know, chipped up a little bit. So middle position, 2 limps, cut off limps, and we decide to raise here on the button to 1,600. Big blind calls, and the limpers also call. Flop is Queen 7-3 offsuit. So we get a check, and then middle position 2 decides to lead out for 2,000 bucks. Okay, we have a pretty strong hand. We got top pair with a really strong kicker. I would say medium kicker. Okay, not a strong kicker, but still pretty decent kicker. We got a call here, so we call and see what everybody else does. If there's a bunch of action after us, then we gotta really be careful. But if not, then we're looking pretty good. So we call, and then everybody else folds. So it's heads up to the turn. Turn is an ace. And our opponent reaches for her chips. Kind of does one of these. And then plants them back on the table and checks. I read this in a poker book one time. You know what that means? They're weak, man. They're so weak. They're like, oh, they got absolutely like almost nothing. I don't even know. They could have like bottom pair or something at this point. So obviously that ace does not hit them whatsoever. And we have a pretty strong kicker. I mean, the only other thing that beats us now is if they got king queen, because we know that they don't have ace queen. So we bet. So we bet 1.5K, and she's got 4K left. So I kind of, you know, I want to see what she does. If she rips it here, then I'm probably just going to make an exploitive fold, because I don't think that this person's ever bluffing. But she called, and 7 offsuit on the river. She checks, and we just rip it. And then she folds. So not a bad pot. That's pretty much our biggest pot so far in the tournament, and it feels pretty good. It feels like we're on our way to making a big stack, and you know, we're grinding it. Feels pretty good to be this lucky in the tournament. We've pretty much just doubled our stack now. So double starting stack, looking pretty good. And let's get on to the next hand. We are on hand number 4. So now we wake up with what everybody wants to see. We've got pocket rockets. We got the aces. And the blinds are 150, 300. We're in early position 1. We got about 20,000 chips, and we are 7-handed. So we got to open it up here. We raised to 850. EP2 calls and the big blind calls. And the flop is 10-7-5. 2 spades. And we got the ace of spades. So what happens is the big blind actually leads out for 1,600. We call, and E2 also calls. So now it's going to be 3 ways to the turn. 8 of spades on the turn. Big blind bets 2,100, and now we call, and then we get a fold from E2. So it's going to be heads up to the river. At this point, you know, we got the ace of spades, we got the nut flush blocker, and our friend could potentially be running a bluff. I mean, you know, he could have a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to name them all. I mean, he could have sets maybe, but could he go for a check raise on the flop with sets? Probably. Anyway, 9 of spades on the river. So we complete our flush, and our opponent shoves for his last 5K, and we just snap call. and he rolls over Jack 9 offsuit. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we take that one down and we continue to grow our stack. That was a pretty awesome pot again with aces. We didn't get sucked out on. We actually had him crush the entire way. So anyway, let's just go on to the next hand. All right, so now we've been kind of grinding for a little bit. We actually were moved to a different table. So new opponents and whatnot. So that's kind of another reason why, guys, you don't really have to get spewy after you win a pot or 2 pots. And that's what happens in tournaments, is you're going to play for a little bit and they're going to break you. You're going to go to a different table anyways. So the image that you're trying to build for being like loose, crazy, aggressive and whatnot in the get-go is not really worth, you know, the chips that you're going to lose on a bluff that's, you know, potentially not really going to make it anyway. Because you're never going to really have an opportunity to use that image. So anyways, we get to this new table, brand new image, and we've been card dead the entire time. So this is perfect. We look like we're, you know, super nitty, and we've actually just been getting nothing the entire time. So now we wake up with 7-8 of diamonds, and we've grinded our way to about $45,000. 45,000 chips, sorry. And it's 8-handed, 400, 800. Middle position 3 opens to 2K, and he's got about 25K effective. And he's been kind of a little loose. Been making, I would say, looser or more frequent opens on the button and on the cutoff. Now it could be that he actually had a hand, or it just could be that he's just, you know, playing correctly and utilizing position. We just never really had an opportunity to capitalize on anything, just because we've had really bad cards. So at this point we got 7-8 of diamonds. We have a really tight image. Looks like we're pretty nitty, so we have to exploit that and use it to our advantage. So we put in a 3-bet. We raise it to 4.5K, and so far so good, till the small blind decides to jam his 11,000. And it folds to middle position 3, and he snap folds. Now it's back to us, and we gotta just snap call here because we're getting really good odds. So we snap call, and it's a little bit embarrassing. I mean, we get our hand in the jar. What can you do? We're exposed. But good news is that he flips over ace jack, and the board runs out. Pretty good for us. 7, 8, jack, queen, king on the river. So we picked that one up, and our opponent is really frustrated. He's an older gentleman. He's like, oh, how can you make that call? That is a terrible call. The odds, the mathematics say you have to fold. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? You just got to run that hand through a calculator. It's pretty much the same thing as ace king versus pocket queens pre-flop. Just do the math. Type in 7-8 of diamonds versus ace jack with no diamond, and you're gonna see it comes out to the same thing as queens versus ace king. So we essentially had ace king in that spot. But yeah, so we picked that one up, and we continue to grow our stack. So now things are looking really damn good. We're running good. We're finally hitting some cards, and it looks like we got control of this tournament. I think we're very close to being the chip leader, if not maybe like second place. But yeah, so let's just go on to the next hand. I think we're at hand number 5. Hand number 5. Let's just call it hand number 5. All right, so I was telling you I was running really good. We get pocket aces again. Pocket aces, guys. And we're in the small blind. We got about 70,000 chips right now, and the blinds have gone up to 601.2K. So we've been battling a little bit. The blinds have grown with a $200 ante, and it's 5-handed. So now 2 tables left, final 2, and it's 5-handed here, 5-handed there, and there's only one more guy that's got to burst the bubble in order to merge the final table. So it's looking pretty good. We got aces. And what happens is E1 limps, the button limps, And the button is the player that we wanted to 3-bet with the 7, 8 of diamonds. He's seen that we're able to do that with a lighter hand, so, you know, it definitely seems like it's a spot that we can squeeze up here. So we bump it up to 7.5K, which I think is on the smaller side, but we do have aces and we do want to get a little bit of action because I think that everybody else is going to fold anyways. So we raise to 7.5K and then folds around back to the button, and he calls. So heads up to the flop. Flop is 5, 6, 7, 2 hearts and a diamond, and unfortunately we have black aces. Not a really good flop for us. This flop is way better for his range, so I think we got to be a little defensive here. So we're gonna check, and luckily enough he checks behind. And the turn is a 6, offsuit 6. So now it's looking pretty good. I think that he's probably gonna bet all his sets on the flop because it's a pretty wet flop, and it just seems that he's most likely got nothing. I mean, he might have potentially a pair, like top pair that he checked back, but I still don't know why he'd want to check back top pair. And anyways, we check again, and he bets 6.1K. And again, it's a good card for us. So pairs the board. If he had somehow a 2 pair, I don't think that he did, but we got to call. So we call, and we get an ace on the river. Ace of hearts on the river, and that completes the flush draw. At this point, we're super stoked about our hand, and we got to check. So we check, and our opponent starts looking at us for a little bit, starts counting out some chips, big amounts, trying to like keep my composure. Like my heart is just pounding right now, and I'm just like, you know, just trying to cover it up. And I'm like, just put it in, man. And he puts 20K, $20,000 bet, huge bet on the river. We've got the second nuts, so we ship. And now he goes into a tank, and he's like, "Are you kidding? Like, I don't know. What do you think that I could potentially have?" I thought it's pretty obvious that I just hit aces on the river, but I don't know. You never know. We definitely have to go for max value here. If he's got quads, then, you know, he's got quads, but he obviously didn't snap call us, so we know that we're good. So now it's just a matter of keeping our composure, and we try again to just hold everything in. We're pretty much trying to stare down at the board and not move at all. Hope that he calls, hope that he just makes up his mind and puts the rest of it in. Thing is that even if he does, he's not, you know, fully out of the tournament. He's got about maybe $25,000 or 25,000 chips left. So I think that there's a good chance that he's gonna call, and especially when he says that I can't fold his hand, and he's running through like all these other possibilities that he thinks that I might have, and I'm like, man, he sounds like he's got pocket sevens. So he makes the call, and he's got pocket sevens, guys. Ooh, pocket sevens. We just coolered him like really badly. What can you do? We're running good. We got a huge stack right now. We got a huge stack, and that was a stack that you guys saw in the thumbnail. Pretty big stack. So a few more hands after that. We actually all make the final table. He makes the final table, and let's just talk about the final table. We got 2 fun hands coming up. So all right, so now we are at the final table, and we've kind of been grinding up and down, and you know, it hasn't been a super easy final table. We haven't really had huge hands or anything like that, and we just haven't had any good spots to be in, to be honest. And anytime that we kind of try to make some late position raises, we were either called, and you know, we just whiffed it all the flops and all the turns, and we just couldn't make anything. So that's kind of the gist of the final table right now. So we kind of went from about 140-ish K to about 100,000. We dipped a little bit below 100,000, and now we're sitting at about 110,000. And we wake up with pocket kings. We're middle position 2, and blinds are 1.5K, 3K, and a $400 ante. So we bump it up here to 7K and folds around to the big blind. The big blind's been kind of loose. Definitely putting in a bunch of raises from the late positions, and we just didn't really have the opportunity to come after him. We see a flop, and the flop is 5-9-4. 2 hearts. And well, we got a king of hearts. So we definitely have to c-bet here. And we c-bet 6.1K. And our opponent calls fast. All right. Offsuit jack on the turn. Our opponent checks again. And now we decide to bet a little more. I don't want to just, let him take it with like, 10-9 or something, or like peel it with an ace-5. Or it's just, I don't want him to let him get there easily. Let's just say that. So I bet 13K this time. I think 13.5K. And now he ships for like an extra 49K. And I'm like, what? Could this guy have a 2-pair on the flop or a set? Or like turn jack-9? And then he kind of like leans back in his chair a little bit. And I start studying him, looking for some physical tells. And I pick up on some tells, and it just seems that he doesn't have a super strong hand. And all tells aside, you just gotta kind of like think about pot odds, right? 49,000, we're about to win a pot. That's like 160K, something like that. Our odds are really good here, and we just can't. We can't fold in this spot. I don't think. Like if he's turning a hand like a jack with heart draw into a bluff, or what he may think is a value hand, then we just we can't fold. So we make the call, and he flips over ace jack of diamonds. So we're looking pretty damn good right now. Dealer peels out an ace on the river, guys. An ace on the river. And then not only do we get the ace of spades on the river, but our opponent jumps up from the table and just starts like parading. He just does like one of these, like. Oh. Whoo! Are you kidding me, man? Like, it felt like I got a sledgehammer to my head in that pot. Like, that's what it felt like. I don't tilt, and I don't start going crazy after things like that, but like, guys, I've never felt so much emotion after one particular hand. Like, that was just absolutely freaking sick. It was sickening. That was a difference between killing that tournament and getting killed. That pot was the deal breaker. It was like, either I win that pot and I pretty much crushed the entire table, because like everybody had like under 100,000, and I would have had pretty much double their chip stacks. And there were a whole bunch of like shorter stacks out on the table. I know it's tournament poker, anything can happen, but if I win this pot, I literally put so much pressure on the table, and it would have been like coasting, easy coast to like top 3 for sure. And it was a 2.5K payout for first. I think second was like 1.8K or 1.6K or something like that. So we got about 25,000 chips. 25,000 from like 110,000, and it feels so sick, still in shock, even remembering about this hand. And that's why I like cash games, because cash games, I don't have to worry about winning a big pot like this. You know, I just can't imagine what guys feel like. If I felt that much emotion losing that pot to, you know, it's a $140 buy-in, like it's pretty much like nothing. But like somebody that loses the main event in this fashion is like, oh, I don't know. I guess I have like a new respect for tournament players that continue to push through these tournaments and like live through these events and these massive beats for like, man, you're at the final table. It's a difference between getting paid the top prize and getting paid zero. So anyway, enough about this pot. Let's just see if we can turn things around. You know, we're still shell-shocked right now, but we're going to try to potentially make it back. So anyways, let's just talk a little bit about the hands after this. So a few hands later, we wake up with pocket queens. And we get trickled down to a few big blinds, and we just rip it. Lady to our left immediately calls, and you know, run it out. She's got kings, and then we just suck out. We hit our queen, and we double up. So I'm not even gonna put that hand up, but that's how we doubled up. We doubled up by sucking out queens versus kings. We hit a queen on the turn. So now we're pretty good. We're back to about like $40,000 at this point, or 40,000 chips at this point. I keep saying dollars, but chips, 40,000 chips. And we keep winning a whole bunch of like limp pots where we just shove. So now we grind our way back to about 60,000 chips. It's looking pretty good. The blinds are still huge, 2K, 4K. They even went up from last time. And we wake up with queens again. We got queens, guys. And same opponent decides to go to 17,000. Now, you know, it kind of looks like a little bit of an odd raise, and it's not even a 3x, it's more than 3x. 17,000 seems pretty odd. But this guy's been raising pretty obscene amounts, like just, I don't know, he's been raising 3x, 4x sometimes. So something like this doesn't seem too out of line from him. So we shove. Everybody else folds. Like, we can't wait to get our money in. Folds back to me, snap calls. Aces, man. He's got aces. Like, are you kidding me? The same dude that like smashed us with ace jack now is aces. Like, oh man, this makes it feel even worse. And we brick out. Didn't hit a queen, nothing. Just, that was it. That was it. You know, like half the table congratulates me. Great game, great game. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It was a great game. It was. It truly was. Made zero mistakes. Played a perfect game. Yet I still lost. So, what you guys got to remember is that tournament poker, you got to always play your best game. And you got to remember that you could go on many losing streaks. You could lose up to 20, 30, maybe even 40 tournaments in a row. It could be really sick. So I don't know. I really don't encourage playing too many tournaments. If you're playing tournaments, you should kind of do it for fun. That's kind of the way that I've always approached them. You know, you do like one here and there, but I just love the cash games. So, you know, that was a fun little trip. It was a fun tournament. We almost took Vegas, guys. We were like this freaking close to take down Vegas. A $2,500 top prize in Vegas. I mean, it's not bad, like what, for a couple hours work? And it would have been a way better story than me losing. Like, wouldn't you guys want to see me walk away with $2,500 money in my pocket? Yeah, I mean, it would have been an awesome story. Had the chips, had like almost all the chips. Anyway, next time, all right? That's what happens in tournaments, you know? You just on to the next one. You gotta always be positive and, you know, take it from there. Play your best game. Anyways, guys, so that was kind of like my special vlog here, and I hope that you guys do go on to the next part and enjoy the scenery of the Grand Canyon and the Hoover Dam. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Please like, subscribe, and as usual, guys, thanks again for watching, and I do value your time. So hopefully you're entertained, and hopefully you got to see a little bit of what tournament poker is all about. You know, we've had the ups and downs and the roller coasters, and if that's what excites you, you know, that doesn't really excite me. I hate getting heart attacks, but you know, sometimes you just ride the roller coaster. Tournaments are a fun way to do that. You can spend 200 bucks. We spent $120 on this tournament, and we had all the fun in the world. And then if we would have won that 2.5K, that would have been even better. But you know, I guess that's the beauty of tournament poker. You just can win a big prize, and that's why people play them. Because if you're playing these tournaments, you got an opportunity. You got a shot. Guys, what is going on? Welcome to the bonus footage. As you can tell, we are at the Grand Canyon. We finally made it, so I guess I'm gonna do a little bit of scenery for you guys, and we're actually gonna do a hike. So after we do this little viewpoint, we're gonna go and walk around a little bit. I don't know how it's gonna be like. Obviously, it's my first time here, so it's pretty unreal. I don't know if you can see everything in the background. I hope you can, because that's some pretty awesome footage. Let me just swipe over, and you guys can just enjoy the view. I'm just gonna start doing some scenic stuff. This is crazy. Let me get a better shot. I'm afraid of dropping the camera. It's so windy, guys. I'm excited. I'm gonna show you what I'm saying right now. And you did it right from the start. You know, if we didn't have that bus, I don't know what I was gonna do. Cause guys, I think you gotta pretty much just take that shuttle, like day in, day out. Otherwise, I don't know. There's no way you could walk around in this stuff, and like the hikes. There's like a 7-mile hike down the canyon, and apparently you get like really close to the water or something. The bus driver was saying that some people make it to the bottom, some people get rescued. So like, guys, if you're out here, just please be careful. You know, you don't want to like get lost here, and I think it costs like thousands of dollars for you guys to get rescued or whatever. So anyways, I'm just gonna walk around a little more, and we're actually at the Pima Point. That's where we're at. This is what you're seeing behind me. Pima Point. Pima Point scenery. So I think I'm gonna call it a wrap for now. Anyways, guys, I hope you did like the vlog, and I hope you kind of enjoyed the scenery out here at the Grand Canyon. Never been here before, so this is definitely new to me, and I'm sure that it's new to a whole bunch of you. Seeing this through a video just doesn't even compare to real life, you know what I mean? Like, you really got to be here, you got to feel that air, the breeze.
You gotta just kind of take in the scenery. You gotta take in all these trees, nature, and all that. This is pretty insane. It's like a desert out here, you know, and there's so much life around. Anyways, you know the drill. As usual, guys, thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome. Just remember to hit that subscribe button, the taco bell, and hopefully I'm gonna see you on the next one.
Missing someone. Missing someone.